Welcome back to our channel, soap fans. Today is an absolutely beautiful day to dive headfirst into the juiciest drama that daytime television has to offer. Grab your favorite drink and settle in because we have a massive, mind-blowing breakdown of the Beyond the Gates and the Young and the Restless crossover. The storm has arrived and the tea is piping hot. Let's get into it. The tornado that has been ominously looming over Fairmont Crest has finally touched down, completely devastating the country club right in the middle of Martin Richardson's highly anticipated political fundraiser. The lights have flickered out, the crystal chandelier has come crashing to the floor, and absolute chaos has erupted among the elite residents of both Fairmont Crest and Genoa City. But let us be completely real for a second. The most destructive force in that building right now is not the swirling winds of the tornado outside. It is the absolute hurricane of deception happening in the dark between the Young and the Restless's golden boy, Kyle Abbott, and Fairmont Crest's resident Black Widow, Hayley Hamilton. If you have been paying close attention to the subtle cues and the leak spoilers, you know that the brief interaction between Kyle and Hayley before the storm hit was not just innocent party banter. It was the calculated opening move of a master manipulator. Before the chaos ensued, we saw Kyle Abbott, ever the charming gentleman, offer a glass of champagne to Hayley. What did she do? She flirtatiously accepted it, locked eyes with him, and swiftly, almost instinctively, removed her wedding ring. Let that sink in. She took off the symbol of her marriage to Bill Hamilton right in the middle of a room filled with people who know her husband. The sheer audacity of this woman is truly something to behold. When the power goes out and the guests are sent scrambling for the basement, Kyle and Hayley find themselves locked away together in the dark, taking cover while the storm rages on. The crossover preview explicitly shows these two locking lips in a passionate, wild makeout session. Kyle is playing the hero, saving Hayley's life in the darkness, completely unaware that he is actually the one walking straight into a deadly trap. But why is this happening? Why is Kyle Abbott so hopelessly susceptible to women who belong behind bars? Let us analyze the psychology of Kyle Abbott for a moment. Kyle is a literal magnet for scammers, gold diggers, and women with dark ulterior motives. It is his ultimate Achilles heel. He has a deeply ingrained savior complex mixed with a fatal blind spot for beautiful women who play the damsel in distress. Hayley can sniff out a rich, egotistical, emotionally vulnerable man from a mile away, and Kyle Abbott has a neon target painted squarely on his back. He is the heir to the Abbott fortune, incredibly wealthy, and currently vulnerable. Hayley did not just stumble into this kiss. She orchestrated the energy that led to it. But to truly understand the danger Kyle is in, we have to pull back the curtain on who Hayley Hamilton really is. We need to remember her dark history. Hayley is not just a woman who married for money. She is a professional, seasoned con artist. Let us take a trip down memory lane. Before she was Mrs. Bill Hamilton, she was running highly coordinated scams alongside her cousin and co-conspirator Randy Parker and her former partner in crime, Lynette Wise. Back in those days, Hayley even operated under different aliases, famously using the name Val to execute her grifts. She and Lynette were a formidable scamming duo before they eventually went their separate ways. When Hayley split from Lynette, she set her sights on a much bigger, much more lucrative target, the wealthy attorney, Bill Hamilton. She did not just seduce Bill. She systematically and ruthlessly destroyed his marriage to Danny Dupree. She played the role of the ultimate homewrecker, slipping into the cracks of their relationship and tearing it apart from the inside out just to secure the bag. Hayley's entire life in Fairmont Crest is built on a foundation of lies, manipulation, and stolen wealth. Now, here is where the story takes a massive, incredibly dark twist that proves this show is writing with absolute brilliance. We know that Hayley is currently in the process of slowly murdering her husband. She and Randy have concocted a lethal scheme using a colorless, odorless serum to poison Bill. Bill's hands are already shaking violently. His health is rapidly deteriorating, and Joey Armstrong is already noticing that something is terribly wrong. But where did Hayley get the idea for this specific method of execution? Think about it. Hayley knows exactly who Kyle Abbott is. She knows his history. And more importantly, she knows the history of the Abbott and Newman families in Genoa City. Is it a mere coincidence that Hayley is using an undetectable poison on Bill right after the infamous storyline where Claire attempted to poison Kyle and his family? Absolutely not. This is a masterstroke of continuity. Hayley clearly saw how effective and terrifying the poisoning tactic was in Genoa City. She realized that an odorless, colorless drug is the perfect, untraceable weapon. She essentially stole a page straight out of Claire's playbook and brought it to Fairmont Crest. She thought it was the perfect crime, an idea inspired by the very world Kyle Abbott comes from. However, Hayley's brilliant murderous plot is currently colliding head-on with her own fatal flaw: insatiable, uncontrollable greed. She already has Bill Hamilton exactly where she wants him. The poison is working. The inheritance is practically in her hands. All she has to do is lay low, play the grieving widow when the time comes, and collect her millions. But the moment she locked eyes with Kyle Abbott, her greed took over. She saw a younger, richer, more powerful Mark, and she simply could not help herself. By taking off her wedding ring and kissing Kyle in the dark, Hayley is attempting to juggle two massive cons at the exact same time. She wants to finish off Bill and secure the Hamilton estate while simultaneously sinking her claws into the Abbott empire. It is a level of greed that borders on absolute delusion. Does she really think she can pull off a murder in Fairmont Crest and immediately hop on a private jet to Genoa City as Kyle Abbott's new leading lady? Her ambition is completely blinding her to the massive, glaring holes in her strategy. And this brings us to the most crucial, razor-sharp point of this entire analysis, the ultimate trap that Hayley Hamilton has blindly walked into. She thinks she is playing a flawless game with Kyle, but she has completely forgotten one massive, undeniable fact. Kyle Abbott is the childhood best friend of Martin Richardson. Yes, the Martin Richardson. The man who is currently hosting the very gala where Hayley just took off her wedding ring. This is where the logic of Hayley's actions completely falls apart, and it is glorious to watch. Martin Richardson knows absolutely everything about the residents of Fairmont Crest. He knows that Hayley is married to Bill Hamilton. He knows the dark, scandalous history of how Hayley was the third party who stepped in and maliciously destroyed Danny and Bill's marriage. Martin is deeply connected to the Dupree and Richardson families. There is absolutely zero chance that Martin is going to sit back and watch his childhood best friend from Genoa City get played by the most notorious gold digger in town. How exactly does Hayley think this is going to play out when the lights come back on? Does she think Kyle and Martin aren't going to talk? The moment the storm passes and the debris is cleared, Kyle is going to mention the beautiful, mysterious woman he kissed in the dark. He might even point her out. And the second Martin lays eyes on Hayley Hamilton, the entire house of cards is going to come crashing down. Martin will immediately inform Kyle that the woman he is flirting with is a married woman, a known homewrecker, and a manipulative schemer. This is why Hayley's greed is going to be the catalyst for her ultimate tragic downfall. If she had just stayed in her lane and focused on her dark plot with Bill, she might have gotten away with it. But by reaching for Kyle Abbott, she has exposed herself to the one man in the room who holds all the keys to her destruction. Martin's inevitable warning to Kyle will not just ruin her chances with the Abbott heir, it will place a massive spotlight on her current behavior. Once Kyle realizes he is being conned by a married woman, he will pull away, but the ripple effects will be catastrophic for Hayley. If Martin starts asking questions about why Bill's wife is acting single and desperate at a country club gala, people are going to start looking closer at the Hamilton marriage. Joey Armstrong is already highly suspicious of Bill's failing health. Thomas Navarro has already overheard strange conversations between Hayley and Randy. The walls are closing in from every single direction. When you connect all these dots, it becomes brilliantly clear that this crossover event is not just a fun way to mix two casts. It is the narrative trigger for Hayley's destruction. Her past as Val, her history of scams with Lynette, her stolen poison idea from the Claire saga, and her arrogant, greedy attempt to seduce Kyle Abbott are all colliding in this one stormy night. She is a woman who thought she was the smartest person in the room, but she completely failed to account for the deep, protective loyalty between Martin and Kyle. Will Hayley realize her fatal mistake before Martin spills the beans? Will she try to manipulate Kyle into taking her away to Genoa City before the poison finishes Bill off? Or will this kiss in the dark be the exact moment the universe finally catches up to Hayley Hamilton? One thing is for absolute certain. When you play with fire in a room full of people who know your secrets, you are going to get burned. And right now, Hayley is standing in the middle of a tornado, holding a match, completely unaware that Martin Richardson is holding the fire extinguisher. What do you guys think? Is Kyle going to fall completely under her spell before Martin can warn him? Or is this the beginning of the end for Fairmont Crest's most dangerous wife? Let us know your thoughts and keep your eyes glued to the screen, because the aftermath of this storm is going to be legendary.